All right, you guys, go grab your coffee, your tea, whatever, because it's really about to get started. I'm about to tell you guys real life situations of people that I personally know and associated with. And I'm going to actually tell you guys towards the end, my personal story, my personal pregnancy scare. Okay, I'm serious. Being a single mother is not something you want to become if you're not one already. And I'm telling you why. I'm using real life situations here. So I'm going to start off here. Way back. Okay, so when I was in high school, okay, around 15, 16 years old, I had a friend, associate. She had sex one time and got pregnant because she wanted to know what it was like. That's what she was telling me. She wanted to know what it was like. It was a friend, so it wasn't even her boyfriend, none of that, okay? Had sex with him one time and got pregnant. So now I don't know much about her or her situation now, but if she's alive and if that baby's alive, she has a grown kid now, okay? A grown kid. And as far as I knew, the guy didn't have any money to support her. As far as I knew, they didn't get married, okay? So now she is becoming a statistic of being a single mother at 16 years old. I know we watch Teen Mom and all that stuff is cool. Most single parents aren't going to be able to go on a TV show and make money and talk about their experience, okay? Most of the single women out here aren't able to do those things, okay? So it is real out here. Like, you really need to think about your life when you make decisions, especially being in a relationship with certain men or certain boys, because most of these people are boys, okay? Or they're just males. They're grown, but they're males, okay? The second situation's two parts. This is getting even deeper and more personal. So when I was 21 years old, so we're fast forwarding now. When I was 21 years old, I was homeless and I was living in a woman's shelter. I met more than one woman in there that was pregnant. Homeless and pregnant. I'm going to say it again. Homeless and pregnant. This is a problem. Why are there pregnant women at the homeless shelter? Where are the men who got them pregnant? And why they're not protecting and providing for them? Okay, that's the first question. And there's other questions too. Okay? Okay, so we're going to talk about the first situation. The one girl was still with the dude. Still with the man, the boy, the whoever, man, child. Whatever name you want to label this male figure. She was still talking to this person. They were still together. How are you still in the shelter and you're still in a relationship with a man that does not have a house for you or an apartment or a roof for you and your unborn child? But you're in the shelter getting provided by the state, the county, the city. That's a problem. All right, the second situation was very interesting. This lady was also pregnant, okay? First baby. And months later, after she got the homeless shelter, I met up with her and we were talking or whatever. She wanted to describe in detail her sexual experience with the dude that got her pregnant. And she's like, oh yeah, that sexual encounter, that's when I knew that I got pregnant and I got my child and all this. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is what you want to focus on? Is how good the sex was? And you got a baby by a dude that couldn't support you while you were in the homeless shelter? And you had to get public assistance to get food, to get WIC, to get food stamps, to, live in a house that the county, the state, the city is doing. I know I'm like really getting in my feelings right now. I gotta calm down a little bit because this is crazy. This is the mindset that happens, y'all. This is the mindset. You really need to be intentional with your body and intentional with the males, men, boys that you want to sleep with. Because depending on your age, it's either a male, well, they're all majority male, or that they're a boy because they're not a man, or it's an actual man. But who's to say? Because A real man's going to take care of his children. So I'm going to stick with just saying males and boys in these situations, okay? Mindset, y'all, is real. I'm looking at the other one. So this one was even deeper because I also met the same person in the homeless shelter, but the kids were not with her and she was not pregnant at the time. And I became friends with this person. She had 2 kids by two different fathers. She was not married to either one of these men. They were also older, because I know sometimes we say, oh, the guy's older, so, you know, he has his stuff together, he's able to, you know, take care of me or whatever. It's not always the case. If your picker is broken, it's not always the case. So for her case, that wasn't the case, okay? She had children by 2 different men, and neither one of the men had money. I'm going to tell you a situation about one of the fathers. This dude was on Social Security, okay? If you know anything about Social Security, unless you are a person who is retired, so a baby boomer that's retired and has worked for many years and made a good salary, you may get decent money and you would get Social Security disability, SSD, not SSI. As far as I remember, okay, SSI is Social Security insurance. That is for people who weren't in the workforce long enough to get work credits. So you get insurance, Social Security insurance. Social Security disability is based on how much you worked, okay? So the man that she wound up sleeping with, okay, it wasn't just one time. The man she was in a relationship with, he was in his 50s, okay, late 40s, early 50s. He did not have enough work credits to get Social Security disability. He had SSI. And if you know anything about SSI, you're not getting much of anything on SSI. You are in poverty line and maybe below. You are poor at that point. If you're getting SSI and you don't work, you don't have any money. So how are you supposed to support a woman with a baby? Think about this. You got to think about who you sleep with. If you're going to choose to open your legs, you need to pay attention on who you sleep with. I'm going to talk about this second to last example. So, I was in my mid-20s at this point. I was working at a call center. This girl that I knew, I wasn't really friends with her, but I knew her. You know what I'm saying? An associate. She has a son, okay? She's young, has a son. She tells me about this relationship with this man that she's with. The man is in his mid-late 30s, okay? So in my mind, I'm thinking if a man's in his mid-late 30s, he's probably got a house or apartment. He has a car at least. He has a job that pays well enough to support him and maybe some offspring. I don't know. That's just my mindset, okay? No. This man had no car. This man, and we're in the United States of America, okay? So we're not in other parts of the world where it's not as common for people to have cars. You don't need one. We're not in that reality, okay? We're not in that reality. Just saying. We're not in New York City, okay? So, no, okay? that's not how it is. You need a car, okay? It makes your life a lot easier. This man worked at Burger King. I'm not dissing people who work at Burger King, okay? I'm not. My problem is you are pushing 40 years old and you are dating a woman with a baby. She has to take you to work. And I'm gonna tell you this. She was making definitely more money than her, because we all were making about the same amount per hour, and the job we had paid quite well for people who didn't have a degree. I'm not going to get into detail, but this was the pre-$15 an hour situation with the fast food. This is pre-$15 an hour. So he was not making $15 an hour. He was making minimum wage, maybe a couple dollars more. He was not making much money. Why is she supporting a man that cannot support her, that has about 10 plus years on her and she has a child. That's not his baby from another relationship. You guys, you really need to, and I'm not making these stories up. These are people that I know. These are people that I knew from the past. I don't think I really talked to anybody that's on this list, but like, I'm just saying, you really got to be careful out here. If a man's not going to claim you, he's not going to support you, he's not going to provide for you, don't open your legs to him. The end. Don't do it. I know I'm like on fire. I'm usually not like this on videos. I'm just so passionate about this, y'all, because it's really a problem. All right, I'm gonna talk about my personal experience, and I'll talk about other people's experiences that they told me. And 10 years ago, I had a personal pregnancy scare. Okay, I was on birth control. My birth control failed. And at the time, I was not using condoms with this person, which was also another mistake. Okay, definitely want to use condoms. The doctor was like, well, this birth control is basically failed, so you're gonna have to wait 2 to 3 weeks before getting any more birth control because you could be pregnant. I was freaking out. I was like, I don't want to have a baby. I don't want to have a baby by him because this man don't have no backbone. This was my boyfriend at the time. This person did not have a backbone. So that's another problem. That's my mistake as well. Okay, it takes two for all these situations. I was scared, and I thank the Lord that I did not get pregnant and that I was protected. But let's just say I was not. Let's say I got pregnant by this man and I kept the baby. I would be walking around with a 10-year-old baby with a man that did not love me, did not want to support me, did not want to provide for me, and now I had to deal with his butt all the time. And if he has another girlfriend in his life, or if he gets remarried, I gotta deal with that and maybe be resentful and be whatever. I gotta deal with all this extra drama in my life. Okay? And then this is another interesting thing. So I talked to someone that knew both of us. Okay, it was like, and she updated me about my ex from 10 years ago. This was a couple years ago. Okay, so it's not most up to date. He did get somebody pregnant. Okay, so I think it was the person that he dated after me. He got pregnant. Okay, he didn't learn from his lesson from having almost a pregnancy scare from me. He actually got someone pregnant. And guess what happened in this situation? They're not married. I don't know. He's semi-protecting, semi-providing. If that's even a thing, if you could partially protect and provide for people, can you? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Okay, so this chick is living with her family, with this baby. He lives on his own. Why is she not living with him? Why is he not doing what he needs to do? And I know this person because I was dating this guy, right? I was like, wow, I'm so grateful and blessed that I didn't have to be in that situation where I'm living with my family, or I had to live in my own apartment and struggle with a child, and he could just come in and out of my life whenever he wants. And then I had to be just upset. And I had to be the one getting up in the middle of the night, changing diapers, feeding my baby. I don't have any support from anyone else. It's not okay. It's not okay, ladies. It's not okay. It really isn't. You don't have to be a single mother to realize being a single mother is not the business. It's not. And it's becoming, I don't know, I can't call it a pandemic, right? Because it's not a virus, it's not a disease. It's becoming an epidemic, maybe? Some type of endemic, okay? This is really a problem. You really need to think about this. And I hope that at least one person watches this whole video that may be 10, 15 years younger than me and be like, damn, I need to get my stuff together. I need to be careful about who I want to sleep with. My suggestion is just don't sleep with nobody until you get married. Because then he committed to you. Okay, he committed to you. And he's providing and protecting you. But it's not just getting married. You have to know that person. Does he have enough money to support you? And if you guys want to have children or expand your family, does he have enough money to support that second, third, fourth kid, first kid? Do you guys have that resource? Okay. Where is it coming from? And obviously marriage is not foolproof. I know that. Divorce rates are high. I get that. They are. So you have to be very intentional what partner you choose. And I still feel like marriage is still better than just being in the streets and sleeping with dudes and getting pregnant by them. You want to at least get pregnant by your husband, not just some random dude that his dick was good for like whatever amount of time you thought it was good, whatever, or even maybe semi-good, and you know what? That is not important. Because that's not important. It really isn't. Having your kid be supported by a strong male figure is way more important than that stuff. And at least protect yourself, wear condoms, be on birth control if you want. I personally prefer natural birth control, as in like tracking your cycles, if you can do that. Some of us women, it's difficult for us to do because you might have PCOS and other fertility issues, so you might just go on birth control. Whatever way you need to do to protect yourself, being on birth control or doing natural birth control, wearing condoms every time, you have to protect yourself. The best defense is just being like, I'm not gonna sleep with none of these dudes because they don't even want to claim me. If they don't even want to claim me, and being someone's girlfriend is not quote unquote claiming you. That's not what I mean by claiming. I mean marrying you and putting a ring on your finger, because there's situations where it's like, oh, he's my fiance. They fiance for 5 years, then he breaks up with you. Now you still have these babies by him and you're not married. You're still a single mother. Fiance does not equal not being a single mother, y'all. It doesn't equal that. It really doesn't. We see these situations happen time and time again. Or you become a fiance because you're pregnant and then he decides not to marry you. Or he maybe marries you, but then the relationship's all jacked up and then you get divorced right after, like very shortly after. It's becoming common, and it shouldn't be common. Okay? It should be rare. These should be like outliers and rarities. But now, what's uncommon now is getting pregnant while you're married and being committed and being in a relationship with a man that loves you and provides for you and will die for you. Why do we think that we're not valuable? That's just what's going on. And I truly wish I felt like when I was in my 20s, I regret not feeling like I was valuable. I'm serious. If I felt as much pride and value and love of myself right now, I wouldn't be sleeping out here. I would not be having sex with nobody. Unless I was like, okay, it's our wedding night. Okay then. And it's nothing to do with religion, spirit. It's nothing to do with that. It's just it's just loving yourself and protecting yourself and protecting your descendants. This is important for your descendants. You'd be like, oh yeah, I don't even know who my granddaddy is because he just was like sleeping around with my grandmother and or the dad or whatever. It affects generations. You need to be more responsible. It's so true. It's just really sad. I feel bad for single mothers. I really do. And sometimes it could be that one time, like the 16-year-old. Okay. Or you can have a pregnancy scare and then you thank the gods, universe, it's angels, okay? Buddha, somebody. You thank them being like, look, I'm glad, okay? And I know not everyone's going to agree with me, and that's okay. But I really hope someone takes this message because it's real out here, okay? We're just talking about pregnancy. We're not even talking about STDs and all the extra stuff that you got to deal with. But it's real out here. You need to be with men that love you, that protect you, and provide for you and your children. I think that's all I got, y'all. That's all I have for today. Thanks so much for watching. I know this was a longer video, but it's really important. It's really important. All right, y'all. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.